Good morning, friends, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, and there's a lot of you, thank you for dropping by today. I really appreciate it. My name is Lissa, also known as the Soap Chef on this channel, where we make all things with a rather good lather. In today's video, you're going to get a little bit of a sneak peek into what's going to be going into 2025. I decided one of the things, along with my regular content, that I'm going to be doing is a look into individual ingredients and how they work and how to use them so that we can get a better understanding of the feel and the properties and the function of these ingredients. And so that series is going to be titled Ingredients in Action. And in today's video, we're going to be working with 8 different gums. Up on my Patreon recently, within the last few weeks, I think, I uploaded a pretty lengthy document where I went into detail about all of the different thickeners, gums, polymers, their percentages, how to use them, in what type of formulas you can use them, what they offer to the, the finished product, their function, and so forth. So go over onto Patreon. If you're not already there, you're missing out. There's lots of good information over there. We have a wonderful community already. But go over there and check that document out. But again, getting back to today's video, we're starting off, this is just a sneak peek. I wasn't going to do this until 2025. However, next Monday, the 16th, the Soap Chef will be having shoulder surgery. Yay for me. It's time, you guys. I've put it off as long as I can. And depending on what it is, both of my shoulders need to get done. But we're just going to do the left one because it's the worst one. So I've got to do one at a time. Depending on what they find when they get in there and what they have to do, I may be in a sling for about 6 weeks, and then there's going to be physical therapy after that. So I was going to wait on the video and let that be the premiere in 2025, but I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek today. There's 8 different gums that I'm going to be working with. These are not all the gums, because there's a lot of other different types of gums that you can use in food. We're not going to be working with those today. We're just going to be working with the other kind, and you can use those ones for food. You can use those in cosmetics, but these ones that we're going to be working with in today's video are just for like the cosmetic gums. So without further ado, you guys, let's go over to Creation Station. I'm going to do a really, really quick, sped up unboxing that I just got from one of the suppliers, because boy, howdy, did I hit it hard for Black Friday, y'all. Ooh, my credit card. It's already paid off anyways, but okay, enough about that. Let's go do a speedy unboxing. I'll show you all of the ingredients that I just got in. In addition, you guys have already seen Creation Station, so I'm not going to show you again today. Go back and see. It's in one of my videos. There's a tour on Creation Station. I've got ingredients coming out of my ears, but I just got in a whole bunch more ingredients that I've never worked with before. And I've got more coming in from, this one is from the Formulator Sample Shop. No. Is that what this one is from? Yeah, the Formulator Sample Shop. I also have another very large box coming in from Lotion Crafter, and then a tiny box coming in from Making Cosmetics. So lots of ingredients that I'm looking forward to highlighting in the series that we're going to be doing, Ingredients in Action. All right, enough about all of that kind of stuff. Let's go over to Creation Station and see what all the brouhaha is about all of these gums. I've already done it, so I already know, but I'm not giving it away. You'll have to wait and see. Come on, let's go. Okay, like I said, this is going to be a very quick unboxing. I'm not even going to talk about anything. I'm just going to open the box. I have not opened it yet. I sliced it open. That's all I did. I'm going to open it. I'm going to start taking stuff out. I'm going to put this on probably 2 times, at least 2 times the speed, because this video is already too long as it is. Ready? Here we go. Okay, so like I said in the intro, we're going to go ahead and do some demonstrations here on all of these gums. That's right, there's a lot of them. We're just doing gums today. As we work our way through all the different types of thickeners and polymers, we'll get to the ones that you can use in food even. But for today's purposes, we are only doing gums. And so I've got 2 ounces. I want to have the solution, the entire solution, be 2 ounces when we're done. So there's 98.5% water. There's 0.5% Germal Plus, which is down in there already. And then we've got our 1% of all of our gums. So when we're done doing this experiment, each one of these will be a 2 ounce situation here. All right, so I'm going to put the camera in a different angle, but we're going to do xanthan gum clear, guar gum, tarragon, gum, how do you say it? Gum Arabic? I think it's gum Arabic, also known as acacia, which is easier for me to say. I think it's gum Arabic. Anyways, acacia gum, konjac, sclerotium, tragacanth, and gellan. All right, so like I said, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and do the camera a different angle here so I can get my hands in here, put my gloves on, and we can get going and see what these gums do. Okay, so we're just going to move left to right. We're going to start off with xanthan gum. Basically, today's portion is only going to be just putting the gums inside of the water. I'm going to mix it up, but then we're going to cover it and we're going to leave it because I did not mix the gums with any of the glycerin. I just wanted to see what the gums are going to do all on their own when you mix them into the water. So the first one again is going to be xanthan gum clear. And we're just going to let that sit. We're going to let that sit while we move on to the other ones. And I'm going to move the camera along as we go. All right, so the next one is going to be guar gum. After that, we've got tarragon. Sorry if you guys, if that's bothering you, like that scraping noise. I know some people are sensitive. Okay, the next one is going to be the acacia gum, or gum Arabic, however you'd like to say it. It's both. I'm already noticing that one is starting to go all the way down to the bottom of the glass already. Everybody else is still floating up on top. Konjac. This is konjac root. Sclerotium gum. Tragacanth gum. And lastly, we have gellan gum. All right, so what are we noticing? Obviously, we're not going to notice too much from this one because we just put it in there. But let's take a look at everybody else. So tragacanth is sitting on the top. Sclerotium is starting to dissolve on its own. Konjac is also starting to dissolve on its own. Gum Arabic starting to dissolve on its own. Tarragon still floating on the top. Guar gum still floating on the top. And the xanthan gum still floating on the top. So what we're going to do now is just give them a mix, and then I'm just going to cover them and leave them till tomorrow. And we'll see if we have agglomeration tomorrow after they've been sitting. That's the fish eyes. Because like, as you can see, it's clumping up. So without any type of a shear right now, that's all it's going to do. It's just going to clump up. All right, we're just going to cover it and leave it. And we're just going to go right down the line. We're going to mix them into the water best we can. Now, the guar gum is mixing in better than the xanthan. Now remember, we're doing a 1% gum on all of these, so everybody's going to be equal as far as the amount of gum that we used. All right, let's get in here with the tarragon. It seems to be mixing relatively well. Gum Arabic, the acacia gum. Looks like it's still in like a nice big huge clump right on the bottom there. So I don't think we're going to be able to really mix per se with that one. But we'll let it sit in there overnight and hydrate and do its thing. Konjac. This is interesting. You see what this is doing. This is a huge, big, solid blob already. That's very interesting. I've never worked with konjac. Well, most of these I've never worked with, honestly. I'll tell you what I have worked with. Xanthan gum, guar gum, and that's it. As far as gums, xanthan and guar. But are you seeing this, you guys? This is interesting. Look at this. It's like a big mass already. That'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow with that one. All right, moving right along. Sclerotium gum. Seems to be dissolving fairly readily. Yeah, that's dissolving very nicely. We'll see how it thickens by tomorrow. Tragacanth. Oh, that's an interesting texture. It just wants to hold on to the spoon and not let go. We're going to have to get you off there, though, buddy. We need all 1% of you. Yeah, that should be interesting to see what this does tomorrow. That seems to just want to like ball up and just kind of hang out there. And look what's happening over here. What's happening with Gellan gum? What is this? We've got cream of wheat happening over here already. Look at that. That's interesting, is it not? And did you see the texture of it? Like it literally looked like cream of wheat or mashed potatoes. But look at this. I mean, this hasn't even been sitting here for 5 minutes yet. So wow, that's exciting. All right. Oh, I can't wait to see this stuff tomorrow. All right, so let's just take a little review before we say goodnight, before I say goodnight. And then for you guys, it's only going to be a couple of seconds. All right, so look at what Gellan gum is doing. Interesting. Very thick already, very viscous. Tragacanth just sitting on top, all balled up. Not doing so well. Sclerotium, that dissolved pretty readily. I'm very pleased with that. Konjac, same thing, but I can see it sitting on the bottom. It's not mixed in like the Sclerotium gum is. It's just kind of dissolving down on the bottom there. All right, so then we've got our gum Arabic, who is just sitting on the bottom. We've got our Terra gum that looks like it dissolved fairly well. And then our guar gum, that's doing really well. And then the xanthan is just sitting on the top doing the fish eyes. All right, you guys, I am going to cut this off right now, and I will be back tomorrow to see how they're doing. You're going to see in just a couple of seconds. Okay, for me, it is the next day. It's about 8:30 in the morning. For you guys, it's just a couple of seconds. We made these gels yesterday afternoon, roughly around 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. It gets dark around 4 here in Pennsylvania, so it was rather dark when I made these. Anyways, that has nothing to do with anything. Let's check and see how they're doing, okay? This is the xanthan gum clear, and we don't have any fish eyes anymore. So the moral of that story is, if y'all do not want to use glycerin or propanediol or propylene glycol or butylene glycol to first dissolve your xanthan gum, you can go ahead and just hydrate it overnight. This is beautiful. This is a lovely consistency. Let me put it right here so you guys can see. I like the texture of this. This, again, is at 1%. This would make a lovely gel. We are going to be doing a feel test at the end here. Once we're done with all of it, we're going to go ahead and take a feel, see what we like, see what we don't. But there you go. There's your xanthan gum clear. All right, let's move over here to our guar gum and see what's happening here. Now keep in mind, I have not used any type of low shear or high shear to mix these, just using my spoon. This is also a lovely texture. I can still see there are some little lumps left, so I would go ahead and use a stick blender or a mini whisk on this just to get rid of those little lumps that are still left in here. But at 1%, the guar gum is a fantastic consistency. Nice texture. I like the viscosity. That would make a very nice serum. All right, let's check out Tarragum. It looks like there's just like a big blob sitting on the bottom. So let's mix that in real well and see if it changes. I think this one would also need some type of a shear to incorporate everything the way it's supposed to, but I'm liking the viscosity of this as well. Very nice. That would make a lovely serum. All right, there's your Tarragum. Moving on to gum arabic. I can see it's completely clear. There's no lumps sitting on the bottom like yesterday. However, look how thin this is. This is just like water. There's no viscosity to this whatsoever. You wouldn't even know that I put anything in here. Yep, this is basically just the same as just water, like as if I didn't even put anything in here. So I guess if you were going to use gum arabic, which is your acacia gum, you'd have to use a whole lot more than 1% to get any type of viscosity in there. All right. All right, let's take a look at konjac. Remember yesterday we had that big thick blob, and it still has that big thick blob. So this one we would definitely need to get that stick blender in there. I do know that konjac absorbs 100 times its weight in water, and it's supposed to have a much better feel than xanthan gum. So we're going to test that out, but I am going to have to blitz this. I might have to put it in a different container because the head of my stick blender will not fit inside of this glass. But yeah, so this just kind of like, it almost like congealed and stayed that way overnight. All right, interesting. All right, let's take a look at the sclerotium, or if it's sclerotium, I'm not really sure. Oh, this is very thick. Oh my, yeah, look at that. Interesting. Ooh, this made a very, just at 1%. So you could really probably go down to 0.5, if not even lower than that. Like if you were making a serum, because this is quite thick. Unless you were looking to make a quite thick gel, then this is perfection. And it's clear too, which I like. None of the other ones except for the xanthan gum are clear. The acacia gum, of course, is clear, but that's just like water. It's like I didn't even add anything to that. But the sclerotium gum is completely clear, which I enjoy, but much thicker texture. Much thicker. Oh yeah. Okay, groovy. All right, Tragacanth. I can see that the color of this is almost kind of beige, which would be the color, I guess, of the kind of xanthan gum that you would buy like from Amazon or in the store. And it's got speckles in it. Yeah, there's definitely like brown speckles in here. If you remember that gum when we put it in here, it was like a very, very beige color, where everybody else was pretty much white. So I will like blast this too and see if I can get rid of those speckles in there. But this would make a nice serum as well at 1%. And it did dissolve for the most part. I'm not sure what those little brown speckles are. That's a little off-putting. Okay, Tragacanth, I'm watching you, buddy. And lastly, which was my favorite yesterday, this Gellan gum, oh my goodness, this happened yesterday within minutes. Now, obviously, this is completely opaque, so I would not use this in a serum. But this would be a good thickening agent, I think, for all kinds of other cosmetics. Yeah, it's quite thick at 1%. Again, you could go down to 0.5 or even below that with this one, depending on what it is that you're going to be making. Yeah, this was the most interesting one of the day yesterday. Okay, all right, give me a moment. I'm going to go get a bowl of water. We're going to do a feel test. All right, I went ahead and took my mini whisk to every single one of these, just to be fair across the board. Some of them didn't need it, but I just did it anyways. Let's do a little test here on how this stuff feels. We're gonna start, let me actually get these little sample. I'm not gonna use those big spoons. I don't wanna put too much. 2, 4, 6, 8, there you go. All right, we're going to start with the xanthan gum clear. Again, I'm not really taking all that much. I like to feel like on the inside of my hands too, to see if it's like sticky. I mean, it's slightly sticky, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of these gums are going to be anyways. You can't really judge it off of that. But I have to say that that sank in really nicely. It does leave a tacky feel. But again, most of these are going to. It's just to varying degrees. But I like that. The xanthan gum clear is very nice. I like it. It's a good viscosity. It feels really nice on my skin. It's completely clear. I mean, they all have bubbles in them now because I, you know, did the mini whisk. All right, so I mean, I've got all my notes too, so I'll go afterwards and write down the final step here on how everything feels. Next, we're going to go over to the Terra gum. Now, right away, I can feel that this is way more slippery than the xanthan gum. It's more tacky. It's taking me longer to rub this in. Yeah, it's more tacky than the xanthan gum. Let's move over here to the guar gum. It's way less sticky and tacky than the xanthan and the tarragon, but it's more slippery than both of them. So more slippery, less sticky and tacky. But it rubs in very nicely. I like the way that it feels. It's all relative, you guys. They're all going to be, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. Do your own testing. Have fun with it. They're all going to feel relatively the same. All of them are going to be slightly sticky, tacky, depending on the grade, where you bought it. Some of them might even be like stringy, you know, like the regular xanthan gum can tend to be stringy. Now, when we get to the acacia gum, I'm not even going to bother. I mean, there's no point. It's pretty much just water. Well, whatever. Let's just do it anyway. I mean, it's just water. I'm not even going to be able to get any on here. It's literally just water. Yeah, it feels just like water. There's zero difference whatsoever. Nothing. Yeah, no stickiness, no tackiness. It feels just like I just put water. So I guess if you were going to use acacia gum, the gum arabic, you're going to have to use a lot to get any type of viscosity. How much you'll have to use, I don't know. We didn't do those tests today. I will going forward. I absolutely will. But yeah, that's a no-go for serums. Okay, what are we going to do next? We're going to do the konjac. And this, in my personal opinion, you'd have to use way less, like way less than 1%, because this was thick. Yeah, this was very thick. Still is very thick. All right, let's see what it feels like, because it's purported to feel much better than xanthan gum. And actually, it does feel much better. Maybe that's just a placebo, but it does. It's hardly sticky at all. Not very tacky. I like the way it feels on my skin. It's sinking in fast. Yeah, that's already done already. Oh yeah, I like the way that this feels. Oh yeah, this is much better than xanthan gum. But it's way too thick. So just use less, you know, like we did 1% on this entire situation. So I would maybe do, I don't know, maybe 0.3 up to probably 0.5 and see what the viscosity of that is. But that's a lovely feel. I really like that, the konjac. I don't like how there's still like little clumps in here. I would have to get in here with my bigger stick blender to be able to get the chunks out, to get everything fully dissolved, because there are, even with the mini whisk, I broke up those big clumps that were there. You saw them, but there's still little clumps down in here. So I would have to get in there with my high shear, because the mini whisks they barely have any shear whatsoever. They do the job that they're supposed to do, but okay, good. Love the konjac though for the feel. All right, let's go over to this Guerlain gum. I am so curious about this. Now, clearly it's mashed potato thickness. I mean, this is crazy thickness. You saw what happened yesterday. So I don't even know, maybe 0.2 to actually have this work in a serum, but let's see how this feels anyways. I'm so curious about this one. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's very silky. Oh my, that's very nice. Oh, that's very nice. Oh, it's not sticky or tacky. Oh, this is quite lovely. Go ahead, Guerlain gum, with your little mashed potato self. We like you. Oh yeah, this is quite nice, you guys. All right, so we just have to use a whole lot less than 1%. Unless you want the mashed potato look, it's not going to come out of a pump, out of a serum bottle. So keep that in mind. But yeah, thumbs up for Guerlain gum. Interesting. Oh, now I'm so curious. I'm going to start experimenting after I have my surgery. Okay, good. Let's see, we got 2 more to go. Let's do the sclerotium or sclerosium. I don't know how to say it. I'm saying it how it's spelled, sclerotium. All right, let's get a little bit of that. Okay, let's see what this is about. Spreading on very nicely. Very little tack or stickiness. If I had to judge it, I guess I would say it's actually about the same as the xanthan and the guar and the others as far as sticky and tacky. But it's already dry. It's sunk in pretty readily. Once I'm done here, you know, I'll go over the notes real quick because this is getting to be quite a long video. I didn't mean it to be this long, but we're experimenting. We're having fun. And lastly, we're going to do the tragacanth. And I did take my little mini whisk there, you know, to that to try to get all those little speckles out. I would not recommend the tragacanth gum for any type of cosmetics. This is very hard to source too, by the way. Very hard to source. I would not recommend this just because of those little fakes, and maybe it's because I got, you know, not so great of a grade of it, but it's extremely hard to source to begin with, but that's off-putting to me. I don't want speckles in my serums unless they're put there specifically by me. All right, let's see. Okay, there's not too much sticky tacky. It's dissolving, not dissolving, it's absorbing really quickly. Yeah, I don't mind the feel of it. But again, just because of all those little black speckles, or the brown speckles rather, I just wouldn't use it. I wouldn't use that. All right, that's it for our feel test. And we're just going to just quickly go over each one individually. All right, we've got our xanthan gum clear. Here, we've got our xanthan gum clear. It completely dissolved and it's clear by the next day. It's got a great viscosity for serums. I would definitely recommend this for serums. Tarragum. It's a little thicker than xanthan gum. So it was mostly dissolved by the next day. I had to use the mini whisk to finish the job on that. It is cloudy. For me personally, 1% of this, it's just, I don't know. It might be okay for a serum. It might be okay. I guess it depends on what your preference is. To me, it's just a tad bit too thick. But that's, you know, that's up to each individual. Okay, guar gum. Guar gum, in my opinion, 1% is way too thick for a serum. And it is cloudy, but it did completely dissolve by the next day. So that is up to you as far as, you know, whether or not you'd like that or not. As far as like cloudy versus clear, we've got sclerotium, konjac, and xanthan that are clear. Also acacia, but you see how thin that is. We're not even really gonna talk about the acacia. It's a glass of water, basically. You'd have to use a lot of the acacia gum to get, you know, a viscosity out of that. But if you're looking for clear, xanthan gum, acacia, konjac, and sclerotium. Those are your clear ones. Everybody else has an opacity to it to varying degrees. Okay, so we did all those. Konjac. Konjac is extremely thick. I still have to get in there with my hand blender, my immersion blender, and get all these big, huge clumps broken up so that they too can dissolve. Maybe if I used 0.5%, it wouldn't be as clumpy as it currently is, but you know, the feel of it is great though. I really like the feel of this better, the konjac. I like this much better than xanthan gum. And it's semi-clear. You know what I mean? It's not crystal clear. I mean, you're not gonna be able to really tell. Here's the xanthan, here's the konjac. because there's bubbles in everybody. So you're not really going to be able to tell. But once everybody, you know, dissipates, all these bubbles dissipate, you'll be able to tell. And, you know, the xanthan is going to be clear. This is going to be pretty clear, I would say. And I do like the feel of that one. That one's great. All right, here we go with the Gellan gum, which is our mashed potatoes. But it feels lovely, you guys. Mess around with the percentages on this. Go down to like 0.2% or 0.3% and see what that gives you as far as the viscosity. But this is a lovely feel, okay? It's too thick, obviously at 1%, to use in any type of a serum. That's just not going to work. All right, moving on to the sclerotium gum. This is clear as well. I did have to use the immersion blender on this to get all the chunks out of it. There wasn't a lot of chunks like the konjac, but there were some. So keep that in mind. So it was mostly dissolved by the next day. It's fairly clear, and you're going to have to use some type of a shear to get, you know, the clumps to be fully dissolved. Also keep in mind, this is without a solvent like the glycerin, the propanediol, propylene glycol, butylene glycol, all of those solvents. If you choose to use those in your products, you're probably going to get completely different results. I just wanted to see these gums on their own put into water. That's what this experiment was about. If I had dissolved all of them first, I may have gotten completely different results. I will be doing that. All right, here we go. Last one, Tragacanth. I do not recommend this. I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, but there are little brown specks. I don't like that. It's off-putting to me. The viscosity is fine. It would be a great, you know, serum at 1%, but these brown specks, you know, I can't deal with that. So that's a no-go for me. All right. Oh my goodness. Look at this mess here. I hope you guys enjoyed this little experiment that we did today. I know I learned a lot because most of these I've never worked with before. And now I have a good understanding of what they do and how they feel at 1% on their own without being dissolved first, just sprinkled on the water and left overnight to hydrate on their own. I learned a crap ton, and I'm going to take all this information, put it in a Word document like I usually do. This will be available up on my Patreon if you guys so wish to go over there and join that community. There's a lot of good information. It's only a little over a year old. I think it's about 13 or 14 months old. We have over 400 members at this point and growing. And yeah, so this is what we're going to be doing going forward in 2025. Ingredients in action. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Like if you do. Make a comment down below. Share it with others who you think could benefit from this information. Okay? And once again, till we meet again, you guys, it's going to be a little while because I've got surgery next Monday, the 16th. Depending on what they find in that shoulder, I may or may not be in a sling for 6 weeks. And then there's going to be intense physical therapy. So we have to wait and see. So this will be the last upload that I do, you know, in 2024 because obviously I'm having surgery. All right. Anyways, wish me well. We'll see you guys when we see ya.